All right, round
I
up.
hear you.
Greetings, class. This is Chris Haskins. My mission and the ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. In doing that, I get to partner with some phenomenal people in this business, one of them being Mike Fritz. Good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chris. It's always good to be with you and your people. And man, so many people have just great questions yesterday. I thought the questions yesterday were off the hook, man. We had some good ones. So if you missed that, man, make sure you go back and watch yesterday. Chris got it on his channel. It's awesome. Got some great questions come out. And I can always gauge the quality of the audience by the quality of the question.
Yeah.
And I can gauge the quality of the question by the quality of the teacher. And I can tell, Chris, you've been dropping some sweet bombs for these people because the questions are deep, they're specific, they're practical, and that only happens when people are in the game. And so well done, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So Mike and I hooked up a few months back, and we've been working on this thing, the moving parts, all the stuff, how to put it together. Mike thought that a 2-day challenge would be best because it's kind of challenging to keep everybody on here for all that time to cover so much content and go over so much. So yesterday, Mike trained us on locating these deals because you have nothing without having the prospects coming in the door.
You got that right.
And then today, Mike agreed to do some of his back office, not only with mental training, because it's all about posture from my perspective when you're raising money and the financing to actually acquire these multifamily units.
Absolutely. One of the things people don't, they look at people that have been investing for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, 20 years, and they just think, well, you don't worry about money anymore. But I'm telling you this, we all invest to the ceiling of our capital. We can only invest as much money as we have. And so we have to go find it. We all have to go through the process I'm going to teach you today. This isn't for rookies. This is for all of us. This isn't Chris and I waiting at the end of the tunnel, waiting for you to catch up. We're right next to you, digging the ditches, doing this exact same thing, raising money so that we can continue to expand our portfolios. So now we've been doing it a little longer. We might be a little bit more skilled with the shovel, but that's only because we've been at it a little longer. That's it. And so I want to encourage you, you're in the right place today.
That's ironic you say that. I think people, when I meet people, traveling and stuff,
sure,
they presume that, it's easier for me to do certain things. I think I've just asked so many people for money, Mike. I don't even think about it anymore,
Exactly. And that first time when you're first reaching out to that first investor, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? What if they say no? And I'm going to encourage you today. They're probably going to say no.
It's okay.
And it's okay. So think about this. If you just make numbers easy, man, if you have to get 1 out of every 10 people that says yes to you, then every no just gets you closer to a yes, right? You just keep going and keep going and keep going. So you have to make sure that this is happening. This is gonna. So I mean, if every investor gave you $100,000 and you had to go through 5, every investor's worth 20, right? So or every no is worth 20, and so we just got to work through it.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Mike, a roundup, make sure you get your questions in the chat box for Mike. If you're watching this after hours, just put it in the comments below so Mike can come back and answer that at a later time.
Absolutely.
So let's do this, Mike. What you got going on?
All right, man. So yesterday we talked about finding deals. I say in multifamily, there are 3 categories. There's finding deals, finding money, and then operating the units you actually buy. And in this 2-day challenge, we wanted to focus on those first 2 legs of the 3-legged stool because operating is a little bit more advanced. It's a little bit around down the road. We want to make sure we get some properties before we even worry about operating them. So in this 2-day challenge yesterday, we talked about finding deals. Again, Chris has got that on his channel. Make sure you go back over, look at that. And also today, I said, Chris, on day 2, man, let's rip off this misnomer that, man, raising money is hard. Let's really dive in to how we raise money. And so I'm going to show you a couple things you need to know when you start raising money for real estate. My coaching clients ask me this all the time. They're like, okay, Mike, I have a deal. Now what? And I'm like, okay, now it's all about the money. And like, okay, what do I do next? And that what do I do next is usually what stops real estate investors in their tracks. And it, from my opinion, it's what separates the people like Chris that have big portfolios that have been doing this from the people that never start or just struggle in real estate. And so is what we're teaching today. So I want to make sure I give that. So I'm going to pull up a presentation. Chris, let's go ahead and pull that up. Let me know when everybody can see it.
I don't have the money. There you go. Yep.
There we go. Okay, so everybody says, I want to get into real estate, but Mike, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. You might be looking at your bank account and saying, okay, I don't know that I can buy that much real estate. And so, but let me tell you, if you base the kind of real estate you can buy based on the money you have, you will always limit your success. So every single real estate investor you see leverages other people's money at some point, whether that's bank money, lenders, or private lenders, private money, whatever. We all do, right? I mean, Chris, would you be where you were today if you weren't leveraging other money?
Yeah, I wouldn't have any real estate, none.
Yeah, exactly. That's most people. That's most people. And most people look at us and go, well, you guys are probably at a point where you don't use other people's money. I use other people's money every single day. Still to this day. And so what we're teaching you today, this isn't a rookie tactic. This is actually an advanced tactic. What we're teaching you today is how to make sure you never stop growing in real estate, and really how you get started. Because you might say, I don't have money. Well, here's a quick news flash. We all started out that way. So you might say, I don't have any money. Well, that's how we all started out. So don't beat yourself up for that. You just need to know what it takes, and then you can go out and start snagging. So the first thing, there's really 3 places you find money. There's 3 places. And I'm going to move kind of quickly today. So as Chris is always saying, make sure you get them questions in so that we can make sure that we're answering those for you. There's 3 places you find money. And this is real basic. Number 1, you find it from banks. Number 2, you find it from you or others. These are our 3 buckets of money. Either we're going to go to the bank, either you have money, or we're going to borrow it from other people. Now, here's the thing about this. A lot of people, I have to train how much money they actually have. A lot of people don't understand that you can actually invest with an IRA. You can actually invest with some equity in your own home. You might own a property. You have equity, especially right now because bank money is so cheap. You can actually pull equity out and invest in real estate. People often don't understand how much money they have. Let me tell you something today. Having a home that is paid for as cheap as money is today is not an asset, it's a liability. Having a home that's paid for, you could pull money out of that, invest it in real estate, and have that money that's sitting in your home be generating you $500, $700, $900, $1,000 a month after all your expenses. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. And so that equity in that home, it's not an asset. Having a home paid off is not as good as we'll just say some real estate guru or some financial gurus preach. I don't care how many envelopes you have. That's not the perfect way to do it, because you can take that equity and really expand. So you actually may have more money than you think you do. And then number 3, which is what we're going to focus primarily on today, is others. How do we get into the networks where people want to say, hey, Mike, I'd like to invest in your deal. Hey, Sarah, I hear you're in real estate. I'd like to invest in your deal. How do you do that? Well, that's what we're going to hit today. How to raise private money, because this is the great accelerator. So let me tell you, when you're raising private money, there is one currency, and I'm not talking about the money you're raising. There's one currency that decides if people invest in you or not, and it's trust. This should be your number 1 focus in building with people, because when they trust you, this makes raising money so much easier. Am I right, Chris? How much does trust important when raising money?
It's number 1, the speed of trust, and it's fast too. The speed of trust.
Oh, that's a great book, by the way. If you've never read that book, that's a fantastic book, The Speed of Trust. How much trust can speed up an organization. Well, it's the same way in private money. People give money to who they know, like, and trust. There's an old statement, and you may disagree with this, but there's an old statement. If people give you their money, they probably trust you enough to babysit their kids. And the point is that here's the point. If I trust you enough to give away the money that are maybe for my kids' college funds, or that I've worked hard for, if I trust you that much, that's a strong level of trust. And that is what I want you to focus on first. What's going to fast track you to raising private money is building trust with people. That means becoming the kind of person people can count on. They know you do the right thing no matter what. That is the first primary pillar of raising private money, is building trust with people. So here's how to do it. I'm going to go through just a couple things of just kind of the landscape of private money, the landscape. So the first thing we talk about, trust. Now I want to make a difference. The first one is credibility, but I want to start by saying the difference between credibility and trust. Trust is meaning I know you're going to do the right thing no matter what. Credibility says I know you know what you're doing. See, the difference is trust is I trust you to do the right thing. I don't need to worry if you're skimming money. I don't need to worry if you're investing my money where you say you are. I don't need to worry about that stuff. Credibility says you know what you're doing. Being in a group like this, being in a group where you're learning and you're educating, this makes you more and more and more credible. And with every deal, you add a layer to your credibility. You add a layer to your credibility. So when let me tell you this, if you've ever flown on a plane, of course, a lot of us ain't flying a lot these days, that will return hopefully. But think about this. Most of the plane's energy is taken to get off the ground. Let me tell you this, it's the same with private money. Most of your energy is going to be taken getting your first 2 or 3 deals under contract with other people's money, and then it will become easy. Tell me, Chris, has it gotten easier for you to raise money over the years?
Mike, I got to tell you now, it's almost like the money will find us.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Once if I see Chris's YouTube channel, I'm like, holy cow, this guy's got tons of content. He's crushed. I don't think I need to worry if this guy has credibility. He's kind of proven it doing deal after deal after deal. Well, with every deal, you add another layer of credibility to. So if you haven't done a deal first, you know what I tell people, a lot of people, to how to build credibility? Let's say you haven't done a deal yet. Partner with somebody who has. Find somebody who's done a deal and you put in the sweat equity. You find the deal. You do a lot of always say you do a lot of the push-ups. You do a lot of the push-ups and you do the deal. You find it. You even maybe raise some money for it. Now, again, that's what I'm talking about today. But partner with somebody that has, so maybe you don't have that credibility, but could you leverage somebody else's by finding somebody who's maybe done 2 or 3 deals and say, hey, why don't we do a deal together? I'll go find us a deal and you know this process and I can leverage your deals and we can call ourselves a team and I can leverage the 3 or 4 deals you've done and we can go forward and do a deal. That is what I would say how to build credibility. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, same way. I mean, people will bring in grandma or grandpa's money into the deal, and they're not actually the one doing the heavy stuff like we or the wisdom that we have, but they're in the mix, so they get the benefit for the credibility.
Exactly. So you think like, let's say I wanted to do a deal and I never done a deal before. I've never bought a piece of multifamily. So what I might do is I might go to, let's say Chris has done all kinds of them. I might come to Chris, say, hey, Chris, I know you're in real estate. If I found us a deal, would you consider partnering with me so that I could leverage your credibility? You can leverage maybe my network in finding a deal and we can partner that way. Chris might say, yeah, and here's what I would need. And then you can build a prospectus, which, by the way, Chris has one. So please make sure you get that. You can build a prospectus and leverage Chris's credibility and your credibility. And you can pull that together. And now all of a sudden you can leverage that. Because a lot of people think they have to contrive credibility out of nowhere. And here's my biggest pet peeve is just lying about what you've done.
Oh, man, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just don't do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that.
It'll catch up with you.
Exactly. It totally will, man. Cause it's a web of lies. You have to just keep, making, and there's so much BS out there. Let's not let that be us. Let's be the people that just tell the truth. And we care more about people than we do care about anything else, because that's what gets you to the top in raising private money. And let me tell you, Zig Ziglar taught me this years ago, and I never got to meet him, but he used to say, you cannot fake it. People often find out. Then Stephen Covey coupled that with your trust will always fall to the level of your trustworthiness, meaning
itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's trustworthy. It's like a magnet. And so you can't fake it. You have to actually be at the core a trustworthy human, or else it comes out. And I know a lot of you are like, okay, Mike, I get, you got to trust me. I'm not going to go and steal people's money, but I'm telling you, that's what people are most worried about. Because let me make a really, really important statement about raising money. People, when they invest in your deals, they're more concerned with the return of their money than the return on their money. They're more concerned with the return of their money than the return on their money. Meaning, if they get their money back but make nothing, it's like, okay, I was no worse off than when I started. But if they give you money and they lose it, they are definitely worse off. So they want to know how you're going to secure that investment, and that credibility will help you answer that question. And if you don't have that, partnering, in my opinion, is the fastest and best way to do that. But by the way, you can also build credibility by just knowing your stuff, getting in a program and having a coach that coaches you through this. And you can ask questions to, when you build this prospectus and you talk about a deal to a possible investor, you can build credibility by knowing your stuff. So when people ask you questions, you can answer those questions. That's another way to build credibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So not only credibility, but also I want you guys to start building your list. Start building your list. Here is a quick homework assignment for everybody on the roundup call today with Chris and I is take out a piece of paper, do it on a Google Doc, do whatever, wherever you want to. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a list of everybody in your network that might be able to invest in real estate. And here's what the biggest mistake I made early on. I judged if people had money based on the cars they drove and the houses they lived in. Boy, did I make not only should we not be judging anybody anyway, it was a rookie error on my part. I found that a lot of times people that drove old Fords had a lot of money in the bank. They just didn't value cars or have, they live in a meager house. I mean, Warren Buffett lives in a $500,000 home. Now that's a big house, but Warren Buffett's one of the richest men in the world. And so, so you don't judge people based on those types of things, because you might have an aunt or an uncle or a brother or somebody that you just don't know their financial, that might have a lot more money than you think they do. And so don't judge based on what you think. So make a list of everybody in your network that you'd feel comfortable taking out for a cup of coffee. Just start making that list. I'm telling you, it is powerful. Start making that list. And if anything, here's how I start the conversation. So a lot of people are like, yeah, but how do I ask somebody for money? I don't. Here's a little power tip for you. I don't ask people for money. I ask them for referrals. So here's how I work it. I go up to somebody, I'm saying, hey, Uncle John, I'm starting to invest in some real estate and I'm looking for a deal and I'm opening it up to a couple investors. I wondered if you might know anybody that'd be interested in investing. A lot of times what happened is Uncle John says, well, tell me more about it. I might be interested. And so I don't ask them for money. I ask them for referrals, which piques their interest. Believe me, they're not going to let it go by if they're interested. They're going to ask. And that's how I've gotten a lot of conversations over the years. You don't want to bull in a china shop, run in and turn family. You don't want to turn Thanksgiving into a sales presentation, right? You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. But I love when people, so Mike, what are you up to these days? Well, I'm investing a lot in real estate. We actually are starting to, open it up to investors. So we're bringing investors in and people that want to invest in the real estate, maybe don't want to bank on the stock market. The stock market's pretty crazy. So in fact, if you know anybody, we're actually looking for a few investors right now for a couple deals. Yeah, I wonder. Let me do some thinking on that. It just starts the conversation and it's so organic. I'm not going in with business cards at Thanksgiving dinner and instead of the little name tags at Thanksgiving, I'm leaving my business card against it. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm talking about. But I do say it's important to just take a few minutes, take out a piece of paper, take out your phone, whatever, and start making a list of people in your network. Who do you know? Who you know? You know what I mean, Chris? How did you start when you started building that list?
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, how many times, Mike? I love talking to you because it's always like we have the same pains. How much? If I just had 25 cents every time somebody say, I don't want to ask them, they ain't got no money. I'm like, what? They don't have any money. I'm like, how the hell? How do you?
I know.
How do you know? Did you ask them?
Exactly.
I like what you said about going to get coffee. It's someone that you feel comfortable with enough to get a cup of coffee. It's nothing more.
No, it's not. And it's not a sales presentation. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm starting to invest in some real estate. We're looking for some investors. If you know of anybody, I'd love to just have a conversation with them if you think of anybody. And then I always ask, hey, would you mind if I just threw your name on our newsletter? And I'm going to talk about a newsletter in a minute and how to do that. And just so that you see what we're doing in case you think of anybody that might be interested. Nice. Oh yeah, sure. You can do that. What are they going to say? I don't want my name on your list. If you know them for a cup of coffee, they ain't going to tell you no. Right. Yeah. And if they ever want to unsubscribe, there's that little unsubscribe button and bye-bye they go. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to worry about it. But I've found that's a good way to build your list. It's more one-to-one combat than it is mass. But let me tell you, my one of my mentors that owns literally $500 million in real estate has 170 investors. That is it. Yeah, you heard that.
You don't need a lot. Yeah,
you don't.
I think I needed all these people. I'm like, first 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly. You can literally become a millionaire with 10 people.
Yep.
If that. That's exactly right. Because a lot of times one person knows 3 other people just like them.
Yep.
And once they start making money with you, they'll bring in their friends. And once they know they can trust you, they're going to bring in their friends. I'm telling you, you don't need. In fact, if 50 people came to you today, you wouldn't know what to do with them all.
Yeah.
You want to start with one or two where you can go into a smaller deal. Make sure you kind of get your feet under you first. Don't go into this whole. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm gonna mention it again in case you weren't able to be here. The go big or go home mentality is gone. That'll get you in trouble, and I don't agree with it. I don't sign off on it. I think go big or go home is more of a sales presentation than it is a real estate tactic.
Strategy.
I think you start small and manageable, and you grow from there. I always say this: a dandelion grows overnight. Oak tree takes 20 years. You want to build something of value, do it in a sustainable way, or else you just won't make it. You know what I mean? You'd be in trouble.
Mike, let me introduce you real quick for the 75. We got 75 people on here. Round up. Thanks for coming with us. We got Mike Fritz today on the day 2 of his 2-day challenge, 2-day multifamily challenge, right? So Mike put this thing together for you today, and today he's going to be covering his financing. So if you're just joining us, thank you. And get your questions in the chat box over there for anything related financing, or multifamily for that matter.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you so much again for joining us today, guys. And Chris, again, thanks for putting this on with me and inviting me, because I'm honored to be here. I really have a passion to help 10,000 people replace their income and go full-time with real estate. And if that's something you're passionate about, you're in the right spot today. Or if you just want to create a side hustle, you just create another couple thousand bucks a month that would just change your life. What would an extra $25,000 a year do to your life right now? A passive revenue that you didn't have to work and grind every day for. Imagine what that would do for you. And that's why I love real estate. It doesn't have to be 50 deals a year to change your life. A couple deals a year can change your life.
That's right.
And that's why I love this game. And so I'm really excited to be here. So again, we talked about trust is our great foundation. Here's how to raise. The first thing you want to do is build credibility. And credibility, of course, comes from trust, but credibility is making sure they know you know what you're doing. And if you don't have any credibility yet, you haven't done a deal, make sure you partner with somebody. That's what I would do at first. And then we start building that list. Take out something, start writing down people that I feel comfortable enough to have a cup of coffee with. And
take out the paper too, Roundup. Don't do it in your head.
Yeah, but I love that. It's so true.
Mike. Yeah.
No, that's so true though, Chris, because a lot of times we're like, ooh, I should talk to him or her. And then all of a sudden we go home from dinner and we don't remember him or her, and I'm that way. I'm the same way. You got to make sure you put it down on paper, put it in a Google Doc. So I have a Google document of people, of potential investors. And I just have an ongoing list of people just to reach out to. I just reached out to one today, said, hey, if you're interested, let me know. He said, oh, that's cool. Let me think about that. He's thinking. I don't know if he'll ever do it, but again, I do know that he's got a lot better chance of investing now that he knows what I'm doing. Right?
I like your posture too with that, Mike. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Let me know if you're thinking about it. I didn't hear you say, please, I got this thing here. We look at it.
I'm actually pulling up my phone. That's why I'm looking down. I actually sent I'm going to read this for you all. And this is a text. This is a text I sent to one of my brothers, one of my good friends, if he wanted to invest. He was thinking of doing some investing in real estate. And here's how I reached out to him. This is all I said. Hey man, hope you're well. Wanted to run something by you. I'm getting ready to put an offer in on a 6-unit high-end apartment building and thought of you. I'm opening it up to investors this week. Would you be interested in having a conversation about it? If it's something you're interested in, great. If not, no worries at all. That's all I do.
Nice.
It's nonchalant. It's very just, hey, just let me know. Because that's the energy. I don't need his money. By the way, Roundup, do you know there is $9 trillion in America in retirement accounts right now that could be invested in real estate? I mean, we're talking
Mike.
Lots of money. What's that, my man?
Stay there for a minute, Mike. Stay there for a minute, because I think a lot of people, when you're starting, they're like, man, I need the money so bad. When the reality is it's more of it out there than you could ever borrow.
Oh, absolutely. Ever. In fact, you'll actually get to a point, and I know it's hard to believe this now, but you will, I promise. You'll get to a point where actually the money is the least valuable thing about a deal. Because you can raise
now, they're paying 0.2%. That's the gauge that y'all understand how cheap money, how insignificant. They'll give you 0.2% if you give them $50,000.
Yeah,
well, that's telling you that it's not worth anything.
Exactly. It's not. It's the least valuable thing. People that really have money, the most valuable thing is somebody who can find a deal and knows what a good deal is.
Savvy borrower.
And that's you. That's what listening to this is going to do. And so you want to start building that list, get it out on a piece of paper, start writing down people you feel comfortable enough to have a cup of coffee with. And again, don't just, you don't know who has an IRA that was transferred to them by their parents that are only 25 years old, but they've got 200,000 in this little IRA that just keeps accruing interest. You just don't know. And that's the biggest mistake I made early on is I kind of judge people, and not judging them in a bad way, but just that, they probably don't have any money because they drove a Honda Civic. And what I found is they just don't value cars, right?
That's me.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't drive a big expense because to me, that's just not where my value. I'd rather do stuff than have stuff. That's just been my model. Yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely. So you're going to build that list. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure, one of the ways to build that list is make sure you're active in networking groups, whether that's the RIAs, Real Estate Investment Association, or meetup groups, or I like to actually network in groups that aren't real estate associated, dentist groups, doctor groups, actually wealth building groups that are talking about all forms of wealth building, not just real estate. And those are really good groups because, again, you might get in there and they're talking about stocks and they're talking about company investments, and you can be one of the real estate people. And so that's always a good couple groups to get in. But again, networking groups are really, really powerful as well. And then what I like to do is take that list and create a little newsletter. And when I create this newsletter, this is something I mail out. You can mail out either once a week or once a month. And it isn't, hey, invest in my deal, invest in my deal, invest in my deal. That's not what a newsletter is. What a newsletter is just, hey, this is what I'm up to. And here's a couple things you need to know about the multifamily market. You can take other people's blogs that they've written and copy it in your newsletter. That's not stealing because you're directing them straight to their blog. They probably would prefer that. And you can take some blogs that have been written around multifamily. You can take some videos. Maybe Chris posts a video. I post a video like, hey, check out this video that just came out about where the real estate market's going. This is why we're passionate about real estate. If you're interested in any more information, reach out to us. You can have a newsletter that's literally copied and pasted into an email document. It doesn't have to be this big, CRM program or customer relationship management system. It doesn't have to be all that. You can sign up for MailChimp for free for a couple hundred contacts and run it. And that's all you need to do. And so understand it's not like you need this big elaborate thing. In fact, the more elaborate, often
gets you in trouble.
It gets you in trouble. Yeah, you want to keep it simple because here's the deal. People don't want to give money to an entity. They want to give money to a person. The more personal you come across in everything you do, in your newsletter, also put something personal. There's 3 things you put in there: information, your deal, and something personal. So what deals are you working on, or what deals have you just done? Information about the market. Here's where real estate's heading. Wow, look at this amazing article on why you should invest in this type of real estate, whatever type of real estate you're doing. And then something personal. This is my green smoothie this morning. Chris does this so well. He lets us into his life in his social media. And I think Chris does this as good as anybody I've ever seen about his daughter starting a business. And he lets us into that. Wow, I feel like I know Chris. You know what I mean? Chris, you do that as good as anybody I've seen.
Yeah, first of all, it's a skill. And I want everybody to know that I hate social media. I hate it.
It's so funny.
I do it because
you're so good at it.
You know what? I don't share that frequently. But here's the thing. I know where the economy is going. I can see it like it's crystal clear. So I'm like, listen, I'm either going to be in front of it or behind it.
Yep, you got it. You got it, brother. Yeah, exactly. And this is so after you're building your credibility and you're building your list, you're getting in these groups, you're gonna want to communicate with these people. And that's through a great newsletter. So you have something just to send them once a week, once a month. This is what I'm doing. Once a week might be a little bit too. Maybe you do it every 2 weeks, the first and fourth Monday of every month. Whatever. I don't know. But all the way, but be consistent. Chris will tell you this from his YouTube videos, and he goes live every day, is consistency is key with communicating with your people, right? Yeah. And as you can tell how much value this man brings to the market consistently. Well, that's why look at his YouTube following. Look why all you were here, because of that. So you want to consistently communicate. The next one is learning to do presentations. So at some point, somebody's going to say to you, all right, I want to invest. And then you're like, okay, I got a deal. And then how do you actually present that? You just say, well, I got a 4-unit and it's $250,000 and this is how much money it brings in rent. That ain't what you're going to want to do. Because if you do that, they're going to be like, I don't really know what to do. So what I want to do, I'm going to do this quickly, Chris. I'm going to go into another I want to show them that building. Can I go into another file that you don't have?
Take you out real quick.
Yeah, take me out real quick.
I want to see that building, dude.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take. Am I out real quick?
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah. So here I'm going to show you a building we just did. I just put it under. I just bought it. It came into. We closed on it about 2 weeks ago. And then was this it right here? Yeah. Let's do this one right here. Okay. So I'm going to share with. I got that presentation up, Chris. It's pulling up right now. Okay. It is. Yeah. Where are we at? We are up. Go for it.
All right.
Can everybody see it?
Man, that's sexy.
Yeah. So this is our newest building. It's a sexy 6-unit high. This was the one I sent this guy this text about. I read you about. Beautiful 6-unit apartment building. So I put a picture of the building, and here's the presentation I created. I said, this is what we're going, and why I took this picture. I wanted them to see there's a new hotel across the street. And so I wanted them to see that it's in an up and coming area. So you want to show them the area. Then I want to show them the inside of the building. And you can see this is just such a stunning apartment building inside, right? And so they're going to look at this. These 3-bedroom units here are like 2,000 square feet. So they're gorgeously large units. Big. And now then I want to move a look at the numbers. I want to show them the numbers. And so then I say, this is what our sale price is. It actually is a little less than that. We got it down. This is what our gross rents are. Here's our expenses. Here's our net operating income. Here's our debt service. This means what we're paying our bank. And here's the cash flow. And then I go, here's what you're going to get in your return. So you're going to get 6% on year 1. Now let me back out of this. I'm going to back out of this, Chris, to our other presentation.
Okay.
I'm going to back out of this to our other presentation right here. So now why I showed you that, and I just walked through it quickly, why I showed you that is when I'm giving a presentation to investors, I want them to see pictures, I want them to see area, and I want them to see numbers. Why this building, picture area numbers. So I want them to see pictures of the building, obviously. Then the area, like why are you investing in this area? And so this area is being built up. A lot of the hotel chains are being built there. So that area is becoming more desirable. And then I want them to see what can you expect as a return on your investment. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so that's how you build a presentation. And that building right there, it was funded in probably 2 weeks. Wow. It was funded in a couple weeks. We had to raise about $200,000 for that building. And then we went and got a loan for the rest. And so that one was funded in just a couple weeks. And it's because that building just funded easy. We're about to put a 32-unit under contract this week, and that one is already funded. This is what I mean when you're like, yeah, I just don't know how to raise money. Once you get the rhythm like Chris has and like I have over the years, then all of a sudden you're going to be like, I don't have enough deals for the capital I have on the table right now.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, right. Sooner or later, it comes down to getting enough deals. Ain't that right, Chris?
It's weird how you just get on the, I would never even been able to dream that was the truth. As you're starting out, you're like, I just got to, where the hell do I find money? But now you're like, that is like.
Exactly.
The easiest thing to do.
It is. So presentations, and then this is where people fail, is on the follow-up. They fail on the follow-up. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, the fortune's in the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up. Raising money is in just reaching back out to people. Hey, so hope you're doing well. And so like when I reached out to this guy, I ended up doing a presentation for him. He wanted to invest. He wasn't ready. He was selling a property and didn't have his capital yet. So when we fully funded the deal, I reached back out to him. I said, hey, buddy, just want to let you know that deal is fully funded, but let me know when your building sells. I'd love to put you in another deal and I'll get you a great deal. So I let them know when it's fully funded as well. It's another reason for me to reach out to them, right? And so this alone today, guys, has given you a huge differentiator. If you just do this, right? This is a huge differentiator for you as a private money partner. But one of the things that I want to, Chris, one of the things that Chris and I have put together is something we want to give to help you. We want to be able to help you. And so, Chris, what do you say we start moving in and telling them about the program we put together so they can start doing this? What do you think?
Let's give it a shot. So we've got 85 people here round up today. I just wanted to make sure you were introduced once again to my friend Mike. The guy is a guru on the multifamily thing. Unbelievable things. But Mike, before we do, I got 2 questions, Mike.
Shoot, bring them.
I'm right here. I'm looking at our time. I know you only got limited time. people
Bring it.
have this thing in their mind. I get asked, people are like, well, Chris, could you refer some private lenders to me?
Mm.
Could you refer who was doing private lending now? Could you just touch on that thinking, if you will?
Yeah. So when people ask me, do you have any referrals for private money? It goes back to that trust and credibility thing, because I will rarely, it's not that I won't refer, it's that those private people, they want to know you before they lend to you. And even though it's a referral from me, they still have their own vetting process. So I could still refer you to a private lender, but then those people are going to still want to vet you to make sure you fit their criteria and you fit what they're looking to do. And so I have people ask that a lot. And again, here's the best thing. When you, instead of asking for referrals, I'm telling you, do it the right way and walk through this process we talked to today, and you won't need referrals. People will be asking you for them.
Well, I think even for me, if I were even to refer Joe Smith down the street, I mean, my lenders would look at me a little. And I'm not saying that I won't. Yeah, go ahead.
I know what you mean, brother, because they're going to be like, I don't know this person. You know what I mean? And so they're going to be like, thank you for the referral. I appreciate you trusting me, but I don't know this person. And, people treat their money very, very carefully, and they should. And so, so that asking for referral, it's not really something that is doable in a sense. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I just want you to touch on it, because I guess I talk about it so much. I'm like, it's the relationship that Mike has with Ma and Pa. It's not something that Mike passes Ma and Pa on. We can help you get your own Ma and Pa's.
Bingo.
But I just don't know about this professional lender. And let me piggyback that on my other question, Mike. When somebody says I'm a private, people contact me, I would have to say every day, I'm a lender. I'm a private lender. We're funding deals in Cali, and we're doing all this stuff. I want to caution my viewers first, because I love them. I want Mike to tell you, no doubt he knows all about these type of communications too.
Yeah. So you're going to find, as you raise money, you want to be just as careful who you take money from as people are who they lend it to. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to find that you don't want to take everybody's money. You want to vet them as much as money. You want to vet them as much as they vet you, because I say this, there's only one thing worse than a crazy person that's lent you money. And so you don't want to you don't want to take money from somebody that's going to make your life miserable. And I know when you're starting off, you're thinking, I can deal with it. It might be a problem, but it'll get me started. Believe me, it will be the worst experience, and it might make you never want to do real estate again. Mm-hmm. And so I'm telling you, who you take money from is just as important as who people are lending it to. And so you want to make sure that you know these people too. That's why I like starting off with people that I know, because I know them. I know they trust me. I trust them. And I know this is going to be a good partnership, rather than just going to, you go to Joe Blow on the street. You don't know him. I don't want to take that person's money because I don't know them. Because let me tell you something. The person that gives you their last $25,000 to invest in real estate, they're going to be calling you 6 times a day to check on that $25,000. Mm-hmm. And so you want to invest with people that have money, that know investing, that are used to ROI kind of conversations.
So if somebody were to say, I'm a private lender, Mike, and I want to make sure I hit this. People want to loan me money, right? I'm like, but then I find out they have points, and they have arms, and they have a balloon. Is that a private lender, Mike?
So there's different. There's private equity money, and there's private lending. Private lending. Yeah, private lending is somebody that gives you money and you make a payment to them just like the bank. I actually prefer private equity money. And what that means is they invest in my deal and they get a portion of my deal, and I don't pay them unless the deal performs.
Gotcha.
And so private lending, they're going to lend you money at 6, 7, 8%. Some of them, hard money is going to be north of 10%, depending on the kind of money you're getting. And private lending, they might say, well, I'm getting 6 in the stock market. Or maybe it's just sitting in the bank and they don't want to play the stock market. They might lend it to you at 5%. That's pretty low. That's a tough one to find, but most of them are 6, 7, and some of them 8% at private lending. And those deals, if you have tough credit and you can't get into a deal, that might be what you have to do to get a deal done. But Private lending is somebody that gives you money you pay back month after month, just like a bank. Whereas private equity money, which is what I like, is people that get actually a portion of your deal. They might put in, let's say you need 50,000 for a deal. They put in 50,000. You guys do a 50-50 split on the deal. They get 50% equity.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, Mike, round up. It's 85 people on here now, and Mike has put something good, special together for actually unique for my roundup family. If you want to, is that something on the screen, Mike, or what?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna move into it right now. So Chris and I were talking, and we're like, Chris, what can we do for people to help them bust into multifamily? And it was funny. I was just in the middle of filming I believe what I've learned over a decade of the most multifaceted and all-encompassing multifamily course you can buy. It's called the MultiFamily CEO, and the reason it's called the MultiFamily CEO is it is meant to put you in charge of your life. The whole point is getting passive revenue so you can control your life. So Chris and I were talking. So I put this training together. It's an online training built in 7 different modules that's going to break how to find deals. What kind of mindset do you need as an investor? How do you raise money? I only had enough time to scratch the surface. But when you talk about building credibility, how do you build your credibility packet? How do you build how do you structure that newsletter? How do you reach out, and I give you those text messages. How do you do all that stuff? And that's going to be broken down. And then it's going to have the third pillar where it's going to talk about actually, now you get the deal. How do you operate it? How do you find a property manager? How do you work with a property manager? And so Chris and I were talking. I said, Chris, let's do something special for your team. And he said, let's do it. And so we put together this MultiFamily CEO course, which literally is to replace your income and live life on your terms. So in this course, I put this together specifically to give you the foundations of multifamily. And I even give you my 0 to retirement plan. That should say plan. My 0 to retirement plan, which basically I show you, let's say you don't have any real estate. How do you completely replace your income and live and never work again? Only work when you want to. I walk through the plan of exactly how to do that with real estate. Then finding deals on your terms. What that means is you dictate if you find deals or not. How do you make sure that you're not just waiting for a real estate agent to send you deals, right? And then, of course, finding money. And I actually teach you how to avoid overfunding. Overfunding is when you have a bunch of money on the table, but you don't have any deals. You don't want that. And I'm going to teach you how to make sure you don't have tons of people wanting to invest and you don't have any deals. We're going to make sure that you can build a system that can make sure you can find deals at the same rate your money's coming in. So you're capitalizing on that all the time. And then, of course, once you get those buildings, the most important thing is you operate them like a pro so you can make all your investors money. This thing is the A to Z solution for multifamily. It really is. And so we spent about an hour yesterday, about an hour today. This is over 30 hours of content to help make sure you never have a question about multifamily. So it's about 33 hours of content where you can listen to in your car. You can put it on a run so that you can just make sure you understand how multifamily works. And this is nice. This is one of my favorite. And here's the bonus. I call it the roundup bonus because Chris and I put this together. This is going to be the first ever. So one of the keys to getting deals is through seller financing. You probably should know what that is, being around Chris's team. If you don't, seller financing or land contract or owner financing, it basically means the seller's taking payments for the property and you don't have to come up with a lot of your own money. I'm going to be teaching a live event on seller financing, and I'm only teaching it for you guys. So Chris and I talked about let's do this. We're going to do it live and I'm going to record it and you're going to get lifetime access to the recording. And that course I'm going to sell after this event. I'm going to sell that course alone for $1,000 because everybody wants to know, how do I get into these deals, seller financing, so I don't have to bring as much money or go find as much money. And that event, I'll tell you exactly when that's happening. But Seller Financing Secrets is probably going to be my second highly sold course with MultiFamily CEO, because it's going to teach how exactly to get those deals, how to find people that want to do seller financing. You'd be amazed. I have more people asking to do seller financing in my career right now than ever before. And I'm going to teach you, what are the motivations for seller financing? How do you speak their language? How do you structure the deal? What are the different terms? How do you educate a buyer that doesn't even know what it is? Wow. How do you walk through that? I'm going to share with you in the live event you're going to be a part of. And when I say live event, It's literally going to be us in a Zoom room, me teaching, and you're going to be able to ask questions. You're going to be part of the entire experience, and I'm going to film that, and that's going to become the course. So you are going to become part of the experience if you join us today.
Nice.
So, and Seller Financing Secrets Live, it's going to be a brand new product. Again, I've never taught this stuff before, but everybody asks about it. So you'll be able to be there live. It's this Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll get lifetime access to the course. Let's say, yeah, but my kid's soccer game is this Saturday. I can't join. No worries. It's going to be recorded, and I'm actually going to allow you to put any questions in ahead of time so I can represent your questions there at the event if you have questions and can't make it. But you get the lifetime access to the course. Chris is actually going to be there with us. He's going to join us. And Chris, by the way, thanks so much for being willing to do that. I think that's awesome for you giving up your Saturday as well to be able to help people. So thank you for doing that, brother.
Yep.
So you'll also get lifetime access. And then here's the thing I wanted to throw up, the last roundup bonus, which is you're going to actually get a live coaching call at the end of that event where it's just going to be us talking. You say, Mike, okay, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to start investing in multifamily. I don't know how to do this. What do I do? And I'm going to answer you live. We're going to get a live group coaching call right after the event. So right after the Seller Financing Secrets on Saturday, we're going to do a live coaching call with everybody there, and you're going to get to put in all your questions, and we're just going to stay there until we get those questions answered. Nice. And so that's going to be, in and of itself, that will be a training because number one, you're going to get access to me one-on-one. You're not going to, or a group on one. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to have to send it in through an email and just get some typing. You're actually going to get me answering your questions. And so also it'll get you started the right way. And I can tell you this, guys, I've made hundreds of mistakes over the years that I can stop you from making. Hiring the wrong property manager that cost me thousands of dollars. Investing in a property today that I wish I hadn't. What do I wish I knew? And all of that you're going to get. And one thing I did not put in here because I just thought of this right now. I said, you know what else I'm going to give you? I'm going to throw in my multifamily deal analyzer that is a dynamic document where you put in the numbers and it tells you your return instantly. And so I have a deal analyzer to make sure I never buy deals that lose money. And I'm going to give that to you with this today just because I want you to have it. So I never want you to get into a deal that's not for you. Okay. So you're going to get not only multifamily CEO, Seller Financing Secrets, and you're going to get a group coaching call with me. So you'll get lifetime access, multifamily CEO. You're going to get access to the Facebook group. I have a Facebook group, and you're going to get lifetime access. I'm very active in there. So if you find a deal and you're like, hey, what about this deal? You throw it in there. You might find JV partners in there for a deal. Might find people that want to, maybe somebody says, oh, you know what? I might want to fund that deal, or I might want to come in and I have some investors, but that deal looks pretty good. It's a great place for networking. Also, you get a free ticket to Seller Financing Secrets Live, which is just you. I'm not inviting anybody else. I'm not selling this anywhere else. This is literally just live for the Chris Haskins Roundup group. I'm telling you. And you also get a lifetime access to that Seller Financing Secrets. When all the editing is done, I'm going to put it in my Kajabi and my membership site, and you're going to have access to that forever. And then you get that free group coaching call. So if we add up, so the multifamily CEO course, that thing goes for $1,000. Seller Financing Secrets Live, this event would be a $500 event, and that's just on the market. This is probably a $1,000 event, but I want to make sure you guys understand. I want this information in your head. If you knew how to structure these seller financing deals, you may not even have to raise money. I bought a 23 unit portfolio this year with zero money down. Wow. Somebody just gave me $1 million worth of property and said it's yours. And how do you find the zero money down? And now I own 23 units and they just handed it to me.
Wow.
That happens. There's people out there like that, but you have to know how to structure and find. And that's why you get lifetime access to that and to the live event. Then you get access to that Facebook group where you can list any questions you have. I'm very active in there. And you get a free group coaching call. And here's what Chris and I did. So if you total that value up, you're going to be almost $5,000 in value. But we said, you know what? Let's give it to him for $997. That's all we said. $997. We'll even break it up for you if that helps, and a couple payments of $597. If that helps you, you can break that up. And I have a guarantee. If you go through this content and you do not get a deal, if you go through this content, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You go through this content, and then it's not some of the best multifamily content on the market, I'll give you your money back. I won't even ask any questions because I'm telling you, I've been through it. I know it. I've never had anybody ask for refunds on my coaching or events before because here's the deal. I'm just sharing what I'm living. I'm not somebody I'm actually not a professional coach. I was saying that to somebody today. Chris isn't either. We actually buy real estate. That's where we make our money. A lot of people are making money selling products. We actually make money selling, moving houses and getting properties.
Stressful.
That's right. So we have a link for you there, Chris. Can we throw that link also in the where they can click, where it's clickable? They probably see it, but may not be able to click it.
They can't click it here. Roundup, if you want to take advantage of this value, the seller financing event is going to be this Saturday. The link is in the video description. Roundup. Kind of, if by now you know how we present things, that just go right to the video description where you're at right now, right below. Get signed up. Go just get more information on Mike's CEO MultiFamily, which is really cool. My thing is, you can master the single family, but now it's time to kind of like take a look at multi stuff.
Absolutely, and one of the things that as we put this together, we really my greatest passion is help 10,000 people replace their income with real estate and go full time if that's what they want to do. But even if it's a side hustle for you, I mean, think about $1,000. We spend that on shoes and eating out. Imagine if you invested that into yourself. I can tell you, this content has taken me a decade. It's cooked up 2 decades really to learn. Really, in the last decade, even more heavily, it's taken me years to pour over this stuff and figure out what do I wish I knew when I started.
Oh my goodness.
It's here. I'm telling you. Chris and I talk about this a lot, and I talk about this on my other network. Is imagine if we knew all this, if we knew the stuff we're learning now, or we know now when we started. Oh my gosh, it would fast track our success. And that's where I want you guys. I don't want you to make the same mistakes, and I can make sure that you're not making those same mistakes I did. And so for literally one investment of $997 or 2 investments of $597, you get access to so much content that it can take you to the next level. It really can take you to that next level, man.
Yep, and you guys are going to get that class Saturday.
That's right.
Get the event, so make sure you get in before Saturday, or you won't be able to actually take advantage of that 1-day class.
Exactly. So that's a good point, Chris. So tomorrow at midnight. We'll even go midnight Pacific Standard Time in case we have some West Coasters. Midnight PST tomorrow will be the last time you can sign up because I need to send all the event information to everybody. So if you sign up, so you have till tomorrow night, and you get signed up, and you'll be a part of that event. You'll get part of the group coaching and that entire experience. If you are if you're not able to be there, it's going to be recorded. You're going to get access to the entire thing lifetime anyway. So make sure you hop in. And again, I'm telling you, Roundup, this is something that Chris and I have taken months to think through and say what really will help people. Mm-hmm. And we've been on the phone a lot together thinking, okay, what's their greatest obstacle? And we understand the greatest obstacles are finding deals and finding money. That's why I wanted to bring it to you.
Let's get some Q&A, Mike.
Let's do it, man. I'm going to break out of here. I want to see. I want to see everybody.
You can leave it up if you want. If you do,
okay,
we can see you and that. I got all that up, brother.
Okay, so I can come back in. Oh, okay, good. Sounds good, man.
Both. Edward, what's up, Edward? Yeah, the first day, just go right to my channel. Matter of fact, I'll put the link to the first day in the video description as well, Edward. I forgot about that. I should have did that, Mike.
Absolutely.
Aaron, let's see, we got Aaron. One more multifamilies, but 25% down payment is daunting. Bought my first 3-year owner financing. Oh man! Oh, I'm sorry. I bought my first 3 unit last year, and I'm an owner occupant.
I hope I can develop an action plan to all this session. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Yeah, seller financing is a great option, and being an owner occupant, if you can, we call that house hacking. Live in one of your units. It's a great way to break into the market. Now, if you have a family, that's a little harder to do. But depending on your life stage, it could be a good option for you. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Daquan, can you buy land and build a multifamily house with an FHA loan, Mike?
That is a great question. FHA is used for purchasing homes. They're not construction loans. So you'll have to get a different kind of loan for that. But, and here's what I often say, building multifamily, I would focus on buying because you can currently buy it cheaper than you can build it for.
Yeah. 2x4 is going through the roof. I mean, new
Oh
construction
man.
is just
Oh, it's so when not only the labor shortage and people's just having so much trouble getting
so much
labor's gotten so expensive with the hurricanes, lumber prices have gone so high.
through the roof.
Yeah, they're through the roof. Yeah. Good.
Mike, if you can't, I don't know. I can bring if you have that other one. We can still see you if you put that
Oh, bring
that
back up. Yeah.
I can put it up while we're talking.
Let's do this, and I'm gonna play up. Go for it. Go
Yeah,
for
I
it.
can still see you though. We got you. Like we got that pretty smile.
Hey, that's all I'm saying.
Trevor, he wants to know. Make sure you put your round up, please. Put your city or where you at. I don't know where you're coming from. Where are you hailing from?
That's right.
In the current environment, how difficult it is to find new deals. I think he might be thinking about deals in his town, Mike, because you got that thing down with.
Sure. So, here's what I say. You know, the market has made it harder to find deals, but to me, I'm still doing deals. So when people always say, "Oh, there's just no deals," I'm like, that's a mindset thing. So there are plenty of deals out there. We just have to go track them down. So start talking. Go back over yesterday's video, and we talked about finding deals. There's a lot of ways on there. People are still thinking. In fact, because the market's growing, people are thinking, "Man, maybe I should sell." So deals are going to start hitting the market. Two things are going to happen. People are going to start wanting to sell coming up because of because the market's growing. And the second, some landlords may not have received rent through COVID and didn't know how to navigate that. So they may be looking to liquidate. So there's some deals coming to the market. And the reason they couldn't collect through COVID is they didn't know how, because we don't have that issue. We have a couple tenants here and there, but very few.
Good. Candace wants to know, is this buying a multifamily by using transactional funding? This she's got a one down here, kind of like wholesaling, Mike.
Yeah. So transactional. So it's buying a multifamily just like you would buy any piece of real estate. So here's what I like to say: when we're in multifamily, we raise money for the down payment and we go get a bank loan for the rest. Now, if we can't get a bank loan, then we leverage private money lenders like we were talking about earlier. Then we go raise money for the down payment, and we leverage a private money lender or a hard money lender for a time if we can make the numbers work. But so is it transactional? Yes, it's certainly transactional. However, buy and holds are a little bit different because you're buying obviously for long term. But yeah, we raise the down payment and get loans for the rest.
I think she's more or less. I think she's thinking about wholesaling these buildings, and I want you to get out of selling. We do not sell assets. You know, I mean, sometimes we will, but you can get.
Yeah, we want to hold. Yeah, so it's not transactional from the sense of you're buying it to sell. Yeah. You can do that, but man, the value in is buying it and stabilizing, raising the rents, and getting that passive cash flow.
Yes.
And then go for it. Yeah, go for it.
An owner wants to sell their duplex $135,000, and I have $1,500 in capital. Average rent is $1,100, and has one active tenant.
So is it $1,100 a side or $1,100 instead of duplex? $1,100 a side or $1,100 total? So if it's $1,100 total, those numbers are not strong enough.
That's tight.
If it's $1,100 a side, those numbers are good numbers.
Yes, I would agree. How would you acquire it? Mike, I guess he wants a point. How would you acquire that one if he's only got $1,500 in capital?
Yeah, so if you have $1,500 in capital, again, first I would talk about seller financing, which again we're going to talk about Saturday of how to negotiate all that. I talk about seller financing. If they say no to that, then I'm going to go to the bank, see how much I need down. Then I'm going to take my $1,500 and I'm going to go raise some capital from private money.
There you go, private money. If you can't do that, Mike, would you recommend? Hey, man, and my thing is this. I forgot to ask you about partnerships, Mike. I love partnerships.
I do too.
But I'm like, I hear so many I'm like, we need to make sure these partnerships are in writing. We need to do it the right way. But I mean, I've always had good experiences.
Me too, brother. And in fact, again, this comes back to that credibility, trust. Make sure you're careful. A partner with your boy you graduated from may not be the best partner for you. You want to partner with somebody that brings value, that you can both play a role in the business or in the partnership of the deal. But just a friend may be the worst person to partner with.
That's true.
So you want to partner with based on, are they good for this deal? Do they have the work ethic you do? Are they going to bring value? Versus, I like this person. Liking somebody is definitely a part of it. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather partner with somebody I didn't like, but I know and trusted, than somebody I liked and didn't have the other two.
That's a good point, Mike. I like dealing with people that do their things differently than I do, and I
Yeah,
get to bring a different perspective to the deal.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Great point, Chris.
Kevin, with evictions on the rise, are property owners more willing to negotiate their multi-units with no money down? Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, some are. We don't see what we call fire sales yet, meaning people just selling to get out from under the deal. We don't see that in the market yet because there still is a moratorium on evictions in the United States. So until that lifts, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But don't let that stop you. Now is the time. So I tell this all the time. Now is the time to learn as much as you can. That's one of the reasons why Chris and I did this, is because I'm like, now is the time when we're kind of in this holding pattern. A lot of people in multifamily are calling it the Seinfeld phase because, Seinfeld was a show about nothing. And they say, you know what, right now there's not a lot. People are waiting. We're waiting to see what happens. I don't believe in waiting, so I'm still doing deals as much as I possibly can. And so, but this is the best time to learn. That's why I wanted to launch this and get this content in your hands as fast as possible right now.
Nice. You never know, man. I'm concerned about this thing, y'all. So get that education right now.
Please.
Trevor, in Florida, should I be more cautious with the rent moratorium? That's what he was just talking about.
Yeah. So I would be, so when you buy a multifamily today, I would ask for the owner's numbers through COVID. I want to know your rent numbers during COVID.
Gotcha.
I want to know if you been collecting rents during COVID.
Yep. Trevor also wants to know, not a fan of using other people's money. You have to get over that, my friend. How do I get past that barrier? It sounds like it's something up here, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. It's up here. And a lot of times we feel like salesmen, and we have a negative connotation to salesmen. By the way, you ever want to build a really good business, love salesmen.
Yeah.
Love them. Love to be sold. I like to, when people knock on your door and they want to sell you, love that, because that
I want to see what the presentation.
Exactly.
I'm like, let me see what you got.
I want to learn. I'm like, how's he present? How can somebody knock on a door and make a sale? That's an impressive skill to me. So I want to know that. But so all that to say, love and the other people's money thing. It's up in the mind. A lot of us feel like salesmen, like we're trying to get other people's money. No, here's what we're doing. We're offering a greater opportunity than the returns they're getting currently.
Mm-hmm.
We're offering opportunities. We're not asking for money. And a lot of people think of this as asking for money. No, we're inviting people. This is an invitation. Nobody is nervous to invite somebody to a birthday party.
No.
And that's what it is. We're inviting people to get better returns. Let's not be nervous about it.
That's interesting. I think you were saying that it's all about the posture that helps you do that.
Oh, man, definitely. Yeah. And again, don't come across desperate. Just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Let me know if it's a conversation you might want to have. You do that with enough people, you'll start having some conversations. Things will start shaking loose.
Yep. Flap your lips.
Absolutely, my man.
Sadie, if I partner with someone that has already done flips using their hard money lender, how do I get the credit for my portfolio? Presuming that credit might be challenged.
Yeah. So credit, and are you talking, I assume they're talking about like credibility, correct, Chris?
I would say, how do I get the credit for my portfolio? I don't know, Mike.
If they're talking about credit, like credit score, which I don't think they are, but if they are, then you're going to struggle with that. If you're talking about credibility, I think you can use that credibility. If you are talking about like credit score, like getting your credit up by borrowing and lending, you can, because you were on the deal. If you were on the actual deal and you weren't just a contractor on the deal, you can leverage any person that was involved in that process. You can leverage that experience, at least in your credibility packet when you're talking to investors. With credibility, you could do that.
Wholesale warehouse, nice name. Thanks for all the gems. My question is, how has your advertising changed since COVID, Mike?
And if you're talking about advertising to get investors, advertising to get deals, or advertising to get tenants, it's three different things.
Wow.
So advertising to get tenants hasn't changed. We're advertising the same spots. If you talk about investors, I'm telling them, hey, this is the time. Bank money's cheap. Stock market is it's being held up by paper straws right now. It's a house of cards. It's going to come down. And if you're talking about marketing for deals, it's the same way. I'm just grinding for deals with real estate agents, with all the off market tactics I was talking about yesterday. Same exact stuff.
Yep. Sylvia, hey Sylvia, I have both an IRA and a 401k. How do I use those funds? This is so juicy.
Oh, I love this. So if you have an IRA, you can get an IRA custodian, and I use some people, and they actually help move that over into what we call an SD IRA, or a self-directed IRA, and then you can invest in real estate deals with your own money. If it's a 401k and you're still at that job, you cannot. If you ever left that job, a lot of times that 401k of a previous job will get rolled into a different program, and you can move that into an SD IRA. But if you have an IRA, you can move that to an SD IRA and start investing that money.
Sylvia, let me tell you what the rich white dude told me back in 2006. Chris, the man set me down. He said, I'm going to show you something that should be illegal. Self-directed Roth IRA. I promise you, Lonnie Scruggs, self-directed Roth IRAs should be illegal. We pay no taxes on it, but we're not going to get into that now.
It's such a powerful strategy.
Oh, my Lord.
So powerful.
If you can at least consider that and get educated on it, maybe we'll do a class on that. But yeah, self-directed. Mike already talked about that.
Yep, absolutely. Great question.
Too. So yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like button, share this content, and hit that subscribe. I keep forgetting to ask.
Absolutely.
Gina says, thank you for the information. Have either of us accepted less than $5,000 from an investor? I don't know about Mike.
I personally have not. I have a minimum in my deals of 50,000. I didn't start there. When I started, I'll take any kind of whatever I can get. And of course, it also depends on how much you're raising. If you're raising $20,000, $5,000 investors, that's 20% of what you need.
Yeah.
But if you're raising 150, well, 5,000 will take quite a bit. Yeah. And so you want to, but yeah, so I personally haven't, but I would absolutely do it, especially for a flip. Like if you were going to go try to get a flip and partner with get a hard money lender, and you just needed that down payment for that acquiring the house. Oh, absolutely. Go and do that. But for multifamily, you probably, even then, I would take 5,000 when I was first starting. Heck yes.
I think, Mike, we need to, as investors, we need to celebrate our wins. Regina.
Oh man.
Celebrate your win. I remember my first one was 12,000. I'm like, man, I don't even remember what my first, but whatever it was, I remember going and celebrating and just living in the moment. It will really push you to go get another lender. What do we say about that, Mike?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So when you start raising money, a yes is the most powerful thing in the world. Man. And then it just watch the snowball. And I just landed an investor. We just had an investor come in last week, and I'm looking for another one. That sounds really good to other investors because it's social proof. Oh, other people are validating this as well. You don't tell them how much they invested. That's not any of their business. But it just tells people this person obviously is winning some trust.
Yes, right.
Absolutely. Right. Celebrate those wins, baby. I agree.
Regina wants to know, she has some potential investors. They want to see the numbers. I have a basic spreadsheet. She might need a perspective. However, I'm looking for a more comprehensive. What? Oh man, we looking for a more comprehensive what? Darren, Mike, I don't know.
Like maybe a more comprehensive number sheet of what numbers to. Maybe a more comprehensive analysis, something like that. Maybe. Yeah. I totally get that. And when you're talking with your investors, you want to make sure you have all the capital you need into the deal, and don't forget anything. All the debt service, you want all your expenses, all your value add, all of your you want to have everything. That actually is in the multifamily deal analyzer that we threw in this package for you as well. Gotcha. I make sure I bonus that in because again, that deal analyzer, that thing will save you hours, and it is such a sexy thing to show an investor because it shows that you know what the heck you're doing. That in and of itself is a credibility piece because people are like, oh wow, this person knows what they're doing.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm telling you, the multifamily game is one of the most powerful things in real estate. And build private money, man, is such a fast track.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Jerry, thank you, Sylvia, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you. Good to see you
all so much. Yeah.
Naya, if you're just joining us, we're here with Mike Fritz offering his MultiFamily CEO. Total value is $5,000 roughly, and one investment is $997 round up. And if you want to split it up in two payments for us, Mike, give us a quick recap, and then we'll keep going with the questions on your offer here.
Absolutely. So one of the things we did on this offer is we said we wanted to throw in a lot of stuff. So we threw in the multifamily CEO online training. We threw in the seller financing secrets live, which I'm going to be shooting this Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys are going to be there live. Those of you that take advantage of this before tomorrow night at midnight. So you're going to be there live, and you're going to get lifetime access to that recording, and you're going to get access to the Facebook group, which I'm very active in. And then you're also going to get a free group coaching call right after that, where I'm just going to coach the group. You're going to be able to put in your questions, and I'm just going to shoot from the hip and let you know, bring all that experience that all the mistakes I've made. And I'll tell you exactly what not to do and what to do. And yeah, we got $5,000, one investment of $997. I'm telling you what, guys, save some money and get this thing, because I'm telling you, education. Nothing has made me more money than what I've invested in myself over the years. Because let me tell you something. I say this all the time. The path to success is paved by the bricks of investment, and those investments are in ourselves. First, Jim Rohn used to say, your education will make you a living, but your self-education will make you a fortune.
It's crazy. We're the best product, and we're always looking for things. We have to educate ourselves, be the person that shows up to the door of opportunity. So
bingo. And that's why we broke this up. And I don't know how I got by with, like, when I first started and I didn't know any of this stuff. That's why I made so many errors.
Nice.
And so that's why I threw all this in here. So yeah, man. So let's keep bringing those questions.
Naya, can $100,000 do for me? $100,000 for me in a deal somewhere in the South or the Midwest?
Absolutely. 150%.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. 100,000 can definitely do a deal. Not only in the Midwest, definitely in the South. It would depend on the city, depending on what kind of deal you're going to do. But again, absolutely.
Good. Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Iowa. David, do you just cash sales on multifamily, or do you also finance with other people's money? Wow.
Yes.
David, hold on. We went over this whole thing, David. We got to rewind. Go ahead, Mike.
No, yeah, absolutely we do. We take other people's money and use that as the down payment and then get financing, so we can leverage other people's money to leverage other people's money. That's where the real leverage is at. It's leveraging investors' money, then getting bank money. So you're leveraging two forms of cash. So it's a really powerful way to do it.
So crazy, David. You're going to learn when you get some capital, it's much easier to get more.
Oh, man. Yeah. Banks love to give us money when we don't need it.
Yeah. And, I'm like, I'm trying to get out of debt. Why keep trying to give me, it's so crazy.
Oh, my gosh. It's so true. It's so true, man. So true.
I mean, it's a dichotomy.
Yeah, you got that right, man. You got that right.
California, what's up, homie? Can you talk about personal credit?
Yeah, personal credit. So when you're going on a loan, they're going to want to know your personal credit score. But here, I actually talked about somebody about this today. So personal credit score will dictate what kind of loan you can get. If you can get a loan, often how much you need down. Here's the power of partnering with somebody. Maybe you can partner with somebody that has better credit and can get that deal done. And you can be more of the boots on the ground or the sweat equity person, where you can be finding the deal, finding the property manager. You can be doing a lot more of the work and have them bring value by helping you get the loan.
Mm-hmm. Credit partner.
Bingo. Credit partners.
Hey, Kenny, how you doing, friend? What is a good percentage to get from an investor? I'm presuming
a percentage of if you're talking percentage of interest rate, it's all over the board. Literally, you could find private money for 4 or 5, or you could find private money as high as 10 or 11, with points on the back end, meaning you're going to have to pay them more on the back end. And so if you ever sell it, if you're talking about percentage of how much you need, it all depends on how much your investors have. So if I'm trying to raise $100,000, I'm going to as many investors as I can. I reach out to everybody I can on every deal. That way, when it's funded and the people keep coming in, they're like, hey, I'm ready to invest. I'm like, I'm sorry, that deal's all funded, but we're finding another one. So I don't ever ask for a percentage. I have a minimum of 50,000, but again, it's not a percentage. It's much more like, how much money are they looking to invest? How much do I need?
How much do you need? Yeah.
Yep. You got it.
We try to, you got to team it up, make it work. You got to just make it work.
You got that right, man.
Yeah. Aaron just purchased his first multifamily. Good for you.
Yeah. Good job, Aaron. Good work.
North Carolina, looking to add to the portfolio 4-bedroom, 4 1-1s duplexes that require some work.
Okay.
Having some problem with comps to determine any ARV value. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So if you're trying to find the ARV, which is the after repair value, if you're trying to find the ARV and there's very low comps around, It would all depend on what you're going to do with this portfolio. So if you're going to try to, because if it's the seller, I would assume if you're trying to buy it, I would ask the seller to do seller financing because then they can get the price they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to sell it, which you said you're trying to add to your portfolio, so I would assume you're not trying to sell it. So if you're trying to buy it and you're trying to find those comps, but they don't exist, I would first start with seller financing, which we're going to go over this Saturday in a whole day, whole event. But I would start there because then you can give them the price they're looking for. Because a bank's not going to loan you past the appraised value, and the appraiser is going to look for comps, and the seller's going to have that problem no matter who comes along to buy it. So if they want that money and they want that asking price, I would ask them to do seller finance. That's what I would do.
Seller financing. I can't wait to hear the magic words. It's just like you just speaking.
Oh, I love it.
Talk about it.
I love it, love it, love it.
Round up, good sound up for Mike's MultiFamily CEO in the video description. Go ahead and head on down there to see exactly what Mike can offer you to get started with multifamilies.
Absolutely.
Regina, hello. Hey, from the ATL, have you ever acquired multifamily properties via subject to? That's a great one.
Yep. We have actually. Absolutely. Yeah. So we absolutely, we've done a lot of different kinds of deals in subject to multifamily, single family, even other commercial buildings. And so, yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do that where somebody has that mortgage. You take that over for sure. Because here's the deal. Those principles are still intact. People owe money. They can't make that payment. You can. It's the same process, just a different kind of building.
Yep.
Absolutely. And by the way, that's powerful. If you find somebody who's, especially if COVID has a little bit of effects, you may find some good subject to options.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
My favorite way to buy, Roundup fan.
Absolutely. Subject twos are awesome.
Trevor, hey, Florida, do you practice having Section 8 and or regular tenants simultaneously in the same building? Mike?
Yeah, so good question. So I never do just an only Section 8 building or a non-Section 8 building. I don't necessarily do that. I find that some of my buildings don't work well for Section 8 because they're higher end. The rents are a lot higher. But we do have some we do take some Section 8 tenants in some of our buildings, and some they just don't work for because, again, they're a couple $1,000s a month in rent. It's a little bit higher. And so like that one I showed you guys on this call, we wouldn't take Section 8 there just because it's too high in rent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about this yesterday. Trevor wants to know about Airbnb for multifamilies in the same building, Mike.
Absolutely. So it's a couple things. It depends on the area. So if I was going to Airbnb a multifamily, it would depend on the area. If I have it in a travel destination, Airbnb, if I own a place in Atlanta or Phoenix or, someplace where a lot of people travel to, a lot of business travel, a lot of that kind of stuff, then yes. But again, travel is a little quirky right now, right? So I wouldn't buy, if somebody says I've been Airbnb-ing and here's the numbers, I wouldn't buy based on those numbers. I would buy based on being able to rent it out traditionally.
Oh no, yeah, you better not round up. That's a great point, Mike.
Yeah, because if they show you Airbnb numbers, it's the same with student housing. Let's say somebody sells you a multifamily on student housing. We don't know what's going to happen with colleges. Are they going to all go virtual for a while or not? So don't buy on student housing or Airbnb numbers because they look really good on paper, but you don't want that long-term risk right now. And banks won't loan on it right now. So just stick with multifamily traditional.
You're in trouble. Yep.
Yep.
Chris, hey, Mike, found a potential deal, 6 family in Roxbury. 1.2 mil, 20 beds, 6 bath for the property would be vacant upon closing. How much do you think I could possibly earn wholesaling it?
That's a really good question. It would all depend on the ARV of that property. I don't know. Now, when you say 20 beds, when you tell me that way, it's a 6-unit, 20 beds. That lets me know it's probably student housing-ish. That's how student housing usually talks. If it's that kind of property, again. Now it depends on what school it's by. Like I own a property by Notre Dame. No matter what happens, Notre Dame ain't going anywhere. So I ain't worried about that. But I still wouldn't buy on student housing right now. And if you were going to wholesale that, if it's a 6-unit property, see if you can buy it at a multifamily 6-unit price. Because that, depending on where you're at, 6 units for 1.2, what's that, 200,000 a unit? Again, it depends on what that sounds more like student housing pricing to me. So yes. I would wait. You could definitely wholesale it, but I would wait to do that. I wouldn't do that right now.
So you're looking Well, he's wholesaling it. He's not even buying it.
He's not even buying, but define most multifamily investors are nervous around student housing right now. So I'm saying even to wholesale it to somebody, if there's nobody looking to buy it, wholesaling you. Now, if you're not going to put it under contract, right? Do a quick close, double close, or whatever. And so, yeah,
I'm thinking about 6 baths. Is that why like did that make you say, I know this is 6 units, Mike? When you saw
no,
that 6
he said, I thought you said it was 6 units, 20 beds. And if it's
oh yeah, 6 family. I'm sorry, you're right. It is. He did say that. He did say that.
So if it's 6 family, 20 beds, usually student housing is what they promote that per bed because usually they rent it out per room.
Gotcha.
And so that's how I'm thinking it's student housing.
Looks like 404 trucker tax-free quadrupled when you buy rentals with Roth self-directed 401k. Good for you, brother.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, and that's so powerful. So here's the thing. Think about that statement right there, and think about helping somebody else do that who's making 4 to 6% in a stagnant stock, unreliable market, and then you can put it in your deals, put it back in the IRA untaxed, and they get to keep that difference. Oh my gosh, you are literally changing people's lives, man.
They're gonna be loving you.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And there's $9 trillion in the United States in untapped retirement funds right now.
And though I'm telling you, 404 trucker, they're gonna call you up mad. Use my money.
I love it. I love it.
Use my money on that deal. What's wrong with my money?
I'm telling you, and this is not, I'm telling you, I have been around this industry, and Chris knows this in the real estate industry. There's a lot of BS in this industry, man.
Yeah,
there's a ton. And this is just real hard data. Just stuff that's working. It's the stuff that really actually works. It's not we're not driving around in sexy cars saying you can flip this. That's just not the game, man. We're teaching the real stuff, not the infomercial at night, having popcorn and drinking a beer. That's not the kind of real estate we're talking. We're talking about the real stuff that actually works and is reliable and actually can change your generational wealth.
That's right. Okay, Aaron says he looks forward to seeing you Saturday. So that live event is for people that sign up for your CEO, correct, Mike?
That's correct. So if you sign up today by midnight tomorrow, you're going to get live access to Seller Financing Secrets, and you're going to be on that course live with us. And I'm going to film that. Then we're going to chop that up and put that into our into a program, and you guys are going to get lifetime access to that. But this Friday, 1 to 5 Eastern Standard Time live. Then after that, we're going to do a group coaching call, and not only are you going to have questions just from the course and from your own experience, but then from seller financing, we're going to move right into some coaching, and you're going to get some live stuff. Chris will be there. We'll be able to answer some questions and really pull back the curtains for you this Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday, guys, 1 to 5. Seller Financing Secrets. We should have put the date up there on that. That's October.
That's October 3rd. Yeah. Today's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, October 3rd, Saturday, 1 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And once you get into the course, I will send you a Zoom link. We're going to be right in a Zoom room so that you can not only have the content and you can be taking notes, or the chat's going to be running so you can pop in your questions, and I'm going to be answering those questions on the fly as well. So it's going to be a highly interactive event. There are going to be some times where I pull you guys off of mute and you start talking, and I answer questions live. So it's going to be a great experience, and then we're going to move right into some coaching.
Nice. Okay, that's all we got for you today, guys. Mike, anything you want to leave before we cut out of here?
Listen, right now with money's where it's at, and as cheap as money is to borrow, there is never, and I mean this is not a sales statement. I would say this if we weren't selling anything, is there has never been a better time to invest in real estate right now. Literally, people are looking for opportunities like this. You can bring it to them. Please don't let another day go by without start building this. Whether you come in or not, it's time to start getting into this, man. It's just so powerful for you, your family, and your generations to come. So, Chris, first of all, thank you for putting such an amazing family together, and these people that just are amazing, that love you and love your stuff. So thank you for what you're doing, brother.
Yep, sounds good. Round up. Thank you so much. Get signed up. We'll see you Saturday. The link is in the video description below. Like this content. Make sure you hit that like button and share with any other investors that are interested in multifamily real estate. So including myself, I'm going to be on the thing too. Okay, round up, subscribe, and we'll see you on Saturday.
See everybody Saturday. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.